Little crossover action here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Locked On Auburn. I'm Zach Blackerby. Locked On Gators. Brandon Olson. The Auburn Tigers are heading to Gainesville to take on your Gators. These two teams played back in January. It was close throughout. Auburn kind of pulled away late. But you and I have talked about this. I think the Gators are better than maybe you think the Gators are, right?
Yeah, you think that, and you thought that going into the Texas A&M game too, and what happened with that one?
Touche. So yeah, I mean, what's the mindset of Florida fans going into this?
Fire Mike White. That's pretty much what we're
It's
at.
down to that point.
It's been, yeah. Gators fans did not like him. I am very hesitant to call for someone's job, but at this point, Gators likely aren't making the March Madness tournament. And it's at this point, if the roster's not good enough, it's his fault because he builds the roster. If the talent is there, but they're not reaching their full potential, it's his fault. He's the head coach. He's been here. We're in year 7 and it's still mediocre. He's living off of a great second season with the Gators. And since then, they haven't won more than 62% of their games in a single season.
Yeah. Auburn kind of in the opposite mindset right now. They feel like they are red hot despite losing to Arkansas a few games ago. But with what happened Wednesday night, Jabari Smith's kind of coming out party against Vanderbilt, he dropped 31. It kind of makes it feel like, okay, is this team ready to start peaking? Bruce Pearl's been so good about getting his basketball teams to peak at the end of the seasons and kind of get ready for these tournament runs. And despite Auburn achieving a lot so far this year and winning over 20 games and, they got a chance to win much more, they still haven't played to the potential of what this roster is. I still think they're doing silly passes from time to time. They haven't been shooting well from 3. They changed that obviously on Wednesday night, but this is a team that can play better than what it has so far this year, which should be really exciting for Auburn fans. But Brandon, they struggle away from Auburn Arena, and we've seen Auburn historically struggle in Gainesville, and I think that's kind of the X factor going into this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly that whole home court factor for the Gators, but I mean, I'm also a little bit concerned about Tyree Appleby. He got kneed in the hamstring on Saturday against Kentucky, and he couldn't go in the second half. Really, he came in for a very short period of time, and then they were like, "All right, pull him. He can't do it." And then earlier this week, he played very poorly against Texas A&M, but hey, you played, so at least there's that. So I mean, it depends on really how he's going to be feeling going into this game, because I mean, if he's going to go. There's no doubt in my mind he's going to play. It's just a matter of, can he be Tyree Appleby, the good Tyree Appleby? Because there's the good Tyree Appleby and there's the bad Tyree Appleby. It's can he be the good one where, he's not waiting until there's 3 minutes left in the game to make his first basket.
It's kind of like Applebee's, depending on which one you go to. Like, it's either going to be a great experience or like it's not a well-run Applebee's, and you're like, I don't want to be here.
I hate you so much for the pun, but I also love you for it.
It's true, though.
It is.
I thought all Applebee's stunk until we were out of town, and there was one across from our hotel. We were out somewhere for a wedding, and so we went across to grab some drinks, and it was a great Applebee's. I didn't realize there were good Applebee's out there, so I had to make the joke. joke. And I appreciate
we have a very inconsistent one in Gainesville, and that is Tyree.
All right. Yeah. So I think Castleton is really the guy that kept Florida in the game at Auburn Arena last month. And some of that. What's up?
He's been that dude.
He's so good. He is so good. You and I were kind of making the jokes like, oh, I didn't realize there were other players on Florida's team outside of him. But I'm curious to see, he was able to eat a little bit more against Auburn because Kessler got 2 fouls really early. And, Dylan, I love Dylan Cardwell, but he's not Walker Kessler, especially defensively. And so that's going to be another thing to watch, is that matchup. And that's such a fun matchup, and the officiating robbed us of it. And I hope that doesn't happen in Gainesville on Saturday. I really do. I want to see those two guys go at it.
I hope it happens. I still want to see Florida win. So I hope that Walker gets into foul trouble early. I still want to win. And then it's like Colin Castleton, he's weird for me because he has some games where he doesn't do a fantastic job, and then there's other times where he's just like, "Hey, I'm the greatest of all." Like against Texas A&M, he became, I believe, the fifth or sixth Gator in men's basketball history, or fifth or sixth Gator in school history, to have 15 points and 15 rebounds in a single game. So like there are some times where he just feasts, and other times where, the Kentucky game last week, Florida got out rebounded 41-25.
Mm.
And it's like that's just not acceptable to happen, especially when you have someone who is widely regarded as one of the better big men in college basketball.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, what he did against Auburn last time. In 33 minutes, he was 7 of 14 from the floor. God, he went to the free throw line 11 times. My listeners love it when I call it the charity stripe. So we went to the charity stripe 11 times, and then scored 22 points. I think he led the. No, Auburn had Katie Johnson went for 23. That's right. But still, I mean, Auburn did not have an answer for him down low unless Walker Kessler was in the game.
Yeah, he's one of the more refined college big men that I've seen, like working in the post. He's got his little spin, his up and under. He's great with putbacks. So I mean, I love what he can do. It's just a matter of, will he show up? And I've complained about this so often this season, where there are clearly full possessions where they're just like, "Hey, we're gonna get the ball to Colin Castleton no matter what. Even if there's someone behind him, in front of him, no matter what we're doing, we're getting the ball to him." And it's just like this offense just dies when they try to do that. And he's great, but they usually turn it over on the pass to him, and then it just ruins everything.
Right. There's something about the number 12 on a jersey too. Like, it just looks good. It just looks clean. I like watching him play. So
yeah, you would say number 12.
Why? Why would I say that? Why would I say that?
Know. Maybe it's that giant Patriots logo behind you.
Oh yeah, that guy. That guy. You want to tell folks about BetOnline?
Oh yeah, I mean, I could tell them all about BetOnline because I give them all my money. Saturday, I hit a heater and I was just like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." I hit 2 parlays. I was making money. Sunday, literally just gave them everything I had. The Super Bowl, I might as well have just deposited the money to BetOnline and just left it there because it was horrible for me. I mean, but luckily, like, it's the fastest and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. Florida screwed me over incessantly this year, football and men's basketball. But I mean, betonline.net even covers award shows, TV shows, and reality TV, and with real-time updated odds and props on almost anything you can imagine. It's the best way to place your bets, and it's 100% free to sign up. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up. I always use my phone when I do it. That's always how I roll with it. betonline.net, it's where the game starts.
Your listeners are hearing this like, yeah, that's normal. Auburn fans just wrecked driving home from work. So apologies, folks. Apologies. Hey, I also want to take a second to tell you guys about Built Bar. Built Bar is the best tasting protein bar out there. There's a ton of them, but you go down the grocery store and you'll find some and they either taste terrible or you'll look at the label and it's like, this isn't good for you. There's more sugar in this than anything else. Built Bar, no, they're the real deal. All their bars are very low in calories, all about 130 calories or so, and high in protein, 13, 14, some up to 18 grams of protein, depending on what flavor you get, but all of them covered 100% in chocolate. And Brandon agrees with me on this. They are delicious. They legitimately taste like a candy bar. So be sure to go to built.com. Use promo code LOCK15 to get 15% off your order. Use promo code LOCK15 for 15% off. That's at built.com. So Florida going into this, I mean, is this going to be an electric environment in Gainesville? You got the number 2 team in both major polls coming into town. That's kind of what Auburn's ran into every time they've hit the road in conference play is, it becomes that team's Super Bowl. Do you think it's going to be a similar situation Saturday?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, no matter how bad Florida is, they're always going to have the crowd rocking like that. That's just how Gainesville is. It's one of the greatest places to play most sports because the crowd is usually just ready to go. And I think that's got to be the case if they want a chance. And I mean, if you're a Florida fan, I think you have to really show up because you're not going to get many more opportunities. After this game, there are 4 games total left in the season for Florida. So, and I mean, we know they ain't making it far in the tournament. They're not in the SEC tournament, and they ain't making it far in March Madness. So you're not going to get to see them play at all pretty soon.
Right. Yeah. I'm looking at, I mean, it's been a crazy amount of time since Auburn last won in Gainesville. And I don't know that I read it last night. I'm trying to find where it was. And it was like, it was too long ago for it to be like, is that real? Is it 96? Is that I'm trying to find a box score more recent than that. No, it was in Auburn in 96. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. But I mean, I'm just looking at Florida has a nice kind of graphic of what's going on their athletics site. And I mean, it's just you guys beat Auburn all the time in basketball. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, good thing this year we suck. So maybe not. I'm serious. Like this is like one of the things where I'm like I said, I don't lightly call for someone's job, but with Mike White, like it's time. And I don't think he's a bad coach. He's just not good enough for the University of Florida. Simple as that.
There you go. There you go. Cool. Any other kind of parting thoughts as we recap or preview this game?
I hate Mike White. That's all I have about him.
When did the hate start? Did it start this season?
For me, yeah. Because I mean, look, I didn't think he was good enough for Florida going into the season. I mean, when they extended him, I said like they extended him this past summer, and I said when you extend Mike White, you're committing to mediocrity because he had one fantastic year in his second year. But since then, he hasn't been great. And I get being like, look, like maybe he can do it. But at this point, we're in year 7. You haven't built a good enough roster. You haven't developed a good enough roster. And I mean, 5 players left to the transfer portal this year. He's relying on junior college transfers to carry his team right now. And the SEC, that ain't going to get you that far.
Yeah, no, you're right. It may have 10 years ago. But the way the conference is all decided to all care about basketball now, which is great for the SEC. But yeah, it's a tougher conference than it used to be.
Yeah, it's just it's different now. And I mean, I hate calling him mid-major Mike, but maybe that's where he belongs.
Auburn extended Bruce Pearl for life, so we're happy.
That's how to do it. If you got the guy, got the guy, extend him. It's as simple as that. You know, if you know who you got, you know who you want. Just keep him around.
Brandon, for Auburn folks listening, if they want to hear you recap the game on Monday or just they want to hear more about Florida, what's the best way for them to reach out to you or hear you or whatever? I don't know.
If you want to hear me, it's just check out Locked On Gators, YouTube, and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Don't reach out to them. That would be inappropriate and weird.
I mean, you can reach out to me. It's fine. I check my DMs. It's fine. I don't always answer, but I check them.
Yep. And of course, Locked On Auburn every day, available wherever you get your podcast. This has been the Locked On Podcast Network's crossover edition for Locked On Auburn and Locked On Gators.